Hey everyone, it's Ben and Rob from Rise TV. Well, after nearly 2 months, there's finally an answer to the question that everyone has been wanting to know. Who was the woman on the plane screaming that passenger is not real? Meet Tiffany Gomas, a marketing executive from Dallas, Texas, and we're gonna find out what this was all about.
Yeah,
And what
why?
really
Why
happened.
are we finding out about that right now or just now,
Yeah,
after all this time?
that's the big question. And what really happened? We'll get into that on
Well,
this.
and if that person on the plane wasn't real, this is, and it's going to surprise you. A tribe in Peru shot guns at 7-foot tall aliens with giant heads and yellow eyes after the ETs reportedly attacked a teenage girl. Is this just a case of paranoid alien fever, or did they actually attack?
And news back on the ground, or I guess deep under it, you could say, a massive underground tunnel system was found stretching from supposedly Scotland to Turkey, highlighting that there was an advanced ancient civilization there long ago. And of course there is a controversy around this, as everything else that we find when it comes to ancient civilizations.
Of course. And speaking of ancient discoveries, archaeologists in China are reportedly afraid to open the tomb of China's first emperor because they fear it might be booby trapped. We've got a bunch of different information on this.
Yeah, and in current news, the media is reporting that a Sound of Freedom producer was caught kidnapping a child. But is the media spinning a tragic story for a purpose? So join us on this Edge of Wonder live show as we dive deeper into all of these topics, plus bring you a live Q&A followed by a meditation/prayer only on rise.tv. And if you're listening to our Edge of Wonder podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or elsewhere, please leave us a 5-star rating and review to help us even reach more people. And also remember to like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rumble, Ganjing World, Twitter, or wherever else.
Wherever you are.
Yeah, wherever you are, wherever we are. Rob, how you doing?
Pretty good. We've got a lot of things going on today.
We do have a lot of things going on today. I thought we would start off with this really weird Instagram video that I found on Instagram, or someone on Instagram. Maybe you found it, but the UFO transported down a highway.
Wait a minute. I'm not sure I saw this one.
Okay.
I have a feeling Lindsay's going to pull it up for us, though, right?
Yes.
Yes, I'm just loading it.
Sure. You mean you're loading the commercial or the 6 commercials that like to play every single time you try to open something?
Or I'm loading the UFO onto my truck.
Okay.
One or the other.
That'd be great. All right.
Let's see.
That's taking a lot longer than normal. Everything okay over there?
Lindsay, there we go.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
So perfect. Funny. I mean, it really does clearly look like some kind of...
It's a UFO wrapped in a gigantic trash bag. Like, that looks like a UFO, literally with contractor bag plastic wrapped around it. What the heck? I wonder what's actually in there.
I know. I mean, I really wouldn't be that surprised if it was some kind of like UFO object. Talking with some of these guys, they do talk about how they do transport these things. And they use like regular, trucks to transport it in most cases, because one, they don't want to keep them in a certain location for too long, because the longer it's there, the more people see it. And, so it's like they do tend to relocate these things quite often. So that's why I'm not that surprised if that's what it is. I mean, of course, this may be something completely different, just something being transported for like a construction site or something like that. But It is really weird.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
that's
really
super
does
weird.
look like some kind of UFO object.
That's a cool find on Instagram for sure.
Yeah, I don't know which one of us found that, but that's pretty cool.
That was
Right.
me.
It was you. Okay.
Thank you,
Props
Lindsay.
to Lindsay there for finding that one. Pretty cool. All right. Why don't we go into Tiffany Gomas or Gomez? I guess Gomas probably it sounds a little bit better. So, okay. So somebody on Twitter who's like a journalist, and I can't remember her name right now, she filed a Freedom of Information Act. And after a month or a little over a month now, she was finally able to get the request, and it was the original police report that she was able to obtain of who this woman was and what exactly happened.
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, I think this woman is probably like unofficially. I mean, she might as well end her career as like executive real estate person and just get into
She was
podcast.
executive real estate or executive marketing?
Well,
We said marketing in the opening.
it was like, yeah, it is marketing, but I think it's marketing for a real estate company. So I found her LinkedIn. She does have a LinkedIn here. She's Uppercut Marketing, but there's some kind of real estate company that's attached to it too. So, I don't know. Anyway, so yes, I thought I was just going to show her photo. That doesn't really show her photo. If you scroll down, I think there's her so there's like her
Wow,
other.
she looks different here than
She looks very different. That's what a lot of people have noticed.
So
I think,
the
this is
theories must be flying then.
yeah, I mean, this is a professional look. Being a photographer, like I understand this thing. It's like this is a professional photo shoot. She's doing hair and everything else. So here's the part where so then this police report came out to explain exactly what happened, and believe it or not, she was never arrested. And according to the police report, I guess she didn't even have any idea that all this went viral, because right after that, she went on a cruise ship for like 2 weeks. And it wasn't until she got back, according to the official report, that she realized that, oh my gosh, like my face is everywhere and everyone is talking about me right now. So,
wait a minute. How did she get to her cruise ship if the plane that she was on never flew?
I was going to explain. So what eventually happened was that
like her,
she claimed that it was according to the police report. Now, this is what's strange. Okay. We have this police report that came out. I don't know why it waited over a month, well over a month for it to come out. Also, we didn't find the name of this person for over a month. That's the other weird thing too. Maybe it was because she was never officially arrested according to the report. That's the only thing I can think of. Therefore, the police didn't have to release her name. So what officially happened, according to the report, is that she lost her headphones, her ear pods, and it was a family member that she was arguing with. And she freaked out over this whole thing with her ear pods and was
with a family member, dude, not like a random plane person on the plane.
Yeah, it was some like close or just a family member that they were traveling. They were going back to Texas. They were in Orlando. They were heading back to Texas, and then she got off the flight. They deplaned the whole thing. Everyone had to get off the flight at this point. She was trying to get back on the flight. They're like, look, you're not getting back on this flight now. She was very distraught throughout the whole thing. But according to this report, she was never arrested. And then she just got an Uber.
Got an Uber to go where?
To just stay in Orlando, because they wouldn't let her back in. I guess she got like some like hotel or something. The police eventually tracked down Gomas down to the terminal curb where she was sitting and waiting for an Uber.
All right. Hey, okay. I have a strange request while we're talking about
Yes.
this. Lindsay, can you pull up an image of the woman on the plane next to the image of that marketing person, Tiffany Gomas, that Ben just pulled up? So that we can do a side by side, because that really does not look like this same person. I mean, we're talking about a different hair color, I think, which is easy to change. I get that. But the
Right.
face, and even like the woman in those photos,
I mean, that doesn't really quite look like her.
That's what I'm saying. Like, look at even her skin type looks more
Well,
like
okay,
redhead
granted.
than-
Okay, hold on. One, this is just like a cell phone taken on a
I get it.
plane. She's in Orlando. She was coming out of Orlando. So we don't really know, her skin, her dark skin could be a result of like, just being on vacation or something and getting, by the pool and having tan skin. That could be.
That does not look like her though, dude.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, of course it's hard to say, but even like, okay, the size of the
Yeah.
forehead, maybe about the same
Yeah.
size. The nose looks different to me.
The nose,
Like she has a pointier nose in that photo on the right.
yeah,
That is a
we
round nose
really
of
need
course.
like a side profile image of her. And again, this is also like we're seeing on the right is a professionally done photo. It could
Who
have
knows
even
what could have been edited, right?
Yeah, and it could have been a couple years old on top of that, But what's weird, I out of everything, this person is a executive marketing person. They should be having profiles upon profiles in every single social media platform that exists. How in the hell did this woman not know that she was going viral for the whole world?
Yeah, I mean, even if you
being
were
a
on a
marketing
cruise, you didn't check Instagram once? Like, what kind of marketing executive are you where you
That's
are
what I mean,
not?
it just doesn't add up. The whole
None of
thing
that.
doesn't add up. It really doesn't. And
I agree.
I mean, it adds more weirdness to the story as it is.
I agree with you. Like, you're right. Like, that is bizarre. Like, most marketing professionals, like, you'd have to like have a conscious decision to seriously unplug for a week on your cruise and not touch your phone. And I'm sorry, but a girl like that looks like they're on their phone a lot. I could be
Yeah, I
making,
agree.
some assumptions here, but she doesn't look like she'd unplug completely if you were on a cruise. Like, you'd be scrolling through Instagram while you were chilling out on the deck, you know what I mean, of the cruise.
Mhm. Now, there was the only thing I can say, there was somebody who came out when this story was like the week that it was all viral and everything, and someone made a video saying, I think it was an older woman, said that she was arguing over a lost AirPod. So that's the only thing that I can say. Okay,
But
this
arguing
woman-
a family member?
that's the thing that's also weird. So it's like,
And then
she's
getting up and pointing to the back and being like, that MFer back there is not real, and you're pointing to your cousin or your brother. Like,
yeah, that's the
or
thing
your
that also
father.
doesn't make any sense through the whole. It's
No.
like there's no, and then she doesn't get arrested for causing a disturbance. That's the other. This whole thing is just. It's actually gotten weirder since we like know her identity now.
Yeah,
I
I'm
was
more
kinda
confused
hoping-
now than I was.
Would you? Yeah,
I'm more-
exactly.
It's just none of that adds up really. And I
Yeah.
mean, is it possible? Sure. Like, the police see a woman sitting down. She's calm now. She's, not disturbed. And they're like, well, she's obviously not a threat. Whatever. It's already passed. And then it goes viral after. The
That
cops
could
didn't
be.
see anything that happened on the plane.
That is true. That is actually true. It's like it's not going viral the moment someone's catching the video and uploading it directly. It wasn't for like the day or two later where things went kind of haywire. So that is a possibility. There could have been like, okay, yeah, she caused a disturbance, but it wasn't like she wasn't like freaking out on anybody or threatening anybody or like assaulting anyone. It was just making these weird claims. And then she gets off the plane, and then she tries to get on the plane, and they're like, you can't get back on this plane.
Why would they let her back on the plane? She just said that MFer back there is not real to everyone.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
how disturbed over a pair of AirPods would you need to be to do what she did?
And then if this is a like you said, if this is a family member, just the whole thing doesn't add up at all.
I mean,
Lindsay,
all of us have bad days, but to melt down to that level is impressive. And by impressive, I mean scary.
Yeah, it really is. Lindsay, can you show this? So I don't know if you saw this, but someone actually made a painting of this whole thing.
Oh my goodness, are you kidding me?
Yeah, this went viral too. And there's like all different kinds of people in here and aliens and everything else.
Leprechaun, a unicorn.
Yeah. This video and this painting went viral. So I mean, this is crazy. I mean, everyone has been trying to figure out who this person is. So
Look at Bigfoot walking across the aisle.
yeah, that's hilarious.
Did you see it in the back?
Yeah. So she lives in this town in inside Dallas, Texas. It's like it's like a town in Dallas, Texas.
Do you know what the name of the town is?
Yeah, it's in one of the articles actually. I'm trying, and she has a home. They even show her home, and
that's wrong, man.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have gone that far.
That's doxing. You get you should get put in prison for that, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think
because people will show up at her house. You know, they'll like travel.
I know. There. I mean, it doesn't have the address, but it's like you can pretty much like it wouldn't take long to comb Google Maps, if you really want to spend the time going through that neighborhood or whatever, I forget what the city inside Dallas was called. It was like Lake something. I'm trying to find it now.
Like no, Travis is over in Austin. I don't know what lake would be over there.
Yeah. It's just like a residential home area, but her homes are worth like about $2 million, and that's what everyone is like talking about. Because I'm like, well, she is an executive marketing director,
executive.
If this is really her,
maybe all that those late nights doing marketing has just gotten to her head. If I flip out on a plane and start saying that MFer back there isn't real, you know why? Too much marketing.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, I don't remember where I saw it. And I don't want to show her. I mean, even though it's so weird that Daily Mail, like, here's her home. It's like, what gives you the right to do that? That's kind of weird. But anyway.
Yeah. That's weird that they revealed her town and home. Like, I mean, like showed a photo of her home.
Yeah.
And it's like it had finally quieted down and people weren't talking about it anymore. And then they just all of a sudden they find out who it is, It's back on the
I guess it's like Grand Prairie, Texas.
Yeah, whatever. There's a lot of names like that in Texas.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway. But
well, hey,
I'm surprised though. I didn't see like there is a Twitter account and everyone's talking about it, but it was just created just like a week ago. So it's like, that's obviously not her. So
yeah. And then I love that there's like all of these people that were coming out being like, I'm a Mason and I was the one in the back that was the blah, blah, blah. And like, of course they're lying, right? Like all those people that were coming out saying that they knew what was going on were just like total fame whores or whatever you want to call them. Anyway, we got to watch a trailer, and then when we come back, we're gonna get into some armored aliens. Yeah, that's gonna be great.
Predator,
right?
A tunnel, a bright light, an out-of-body experience. We're told death is the end, but what about people who came back from the brink? All around the world, people report near-death experiences. Strange phenomena, divine beings, miraculous stories of the impossible. back from certain death. And decades of scientific research into it all. What's so big that it could be the breakthrough of an age? How are consciousness, the brain, and the soul intertwined? Perhaps the great beyond is closer than we think. It's time to get into the undisputable patterns, capturing the attention of scientists, doctors, atheists, priests, moms, and pops. This is bigger than we ever could have imagined. Near-Death Experiences Part 1. Amazing Stories of the Afterlife.
Well, you guys, you can find that over on Rise.tv along with our other series. So many series that we have that Rob and I have done over, 5 years now. It's crazy to think about.
I know.
And by the way, if you are watching us on Rumble or YouTube, Ganjing World, Twitter, Facebook, please remember to like, follow, and subscribe to our channel so we can keep growing and reach more people. So thank you guys. Really appreciate it. All right, so time to talk about Predator.
Armored aliens attack teen girl in Peru. Claim is met with irrational fear. This is the article. All right.
There's a lot of articles with this one. So
is there video?
There is video. So this is the interesting thing about it. There really is video. Now you can't really see a whole lot in the video, but honestly, we're gonna there's two different videos as well. And I think it's more of a sense of you can see certain things. They keep saying now, it's in Peru. They keep pointing at things and they're shining flashlights in one of the videos, which that's the one we're going to get into here in a minute. But the story is that these members of this indigenous people, I don't know if I'm going to say this right. Kitu?
How do you spell it?
Ikitu. Akitu. So they're in a very extremely rural area of Peru in the Amazon, actually. And what happened was a 15-year-old girl was claimed to have been attacked by this like alien 7-foot alien beast thing that actually cut her throat. And she has a bandage on and around her throat. And there's photos of the girl with this bandage on. And they described it as a 7-foot alien creature with some kind of armor on, a big head and glowing yellow eyes. And what's important in the video is that you can hear them all frantically running around in this video and like shooting at this thing that they claim to see. And they're all saying like fire, 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 like this. Okay. So this video, this is 45 seconds of like a 5-minute video actually. And this is the 45 seconds where they're pointing a flashlight at where they think they are seeing the alien. And then another guy next to him is shooting at it. Actually, you can hear the gunshots and there's like a woman that's recording freaking out.
Wow. We got any audio here?
Maybe this is the one without the sound. Okay, I think this is the one that they slowed down, maybe. I don't know. Lindsay, are you hearing sound on your end?
I was, and it was very loud, so I muted it, but you should have heard the sound before I did that.
There is no sound on our end. Can you try it again?
Sure.
Maybe refresh, Lindsay. That's strange, because you said you heard the sound before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very loud.
Oh, yeah, we're not getting anything.
Yeah, try it one more time. So, there's different reports of this too. Supposedly there was some reports where this specific tribe of people have noticed this before. Okay, here we go. Let's try again. The green thing you're seeing on the center of your screen, that's you're shining the flashlight there, and that's where they keep. No, leave it up, Lindsay. Leave it up. It's fine. I think it's important to hear. It's just we're not going to be able to really understand what's going on there.
Okay, so we got dogs barking, we got people screaming. Any gunshots yet?
I don't know in this video if we're going to hear the gunshot. There's another video where you do hear the gunshots. Pelakaras. Okay, so what's interesting is that they use the term, and I'm going to completely probably butcher this too, Pelakaras, which means face peelers. Yes. So they actually have a name for this thing. That's what they call it, because they say that it actually like rips off your face when it captures you.
Oh, I thought they like peeled their own face off because they're that's scary.
These alien beings do this.
Yeah, this sounds like Predator.
Yeah, and this is this term. This is like a common term that they use for this thing. Face peelers would be like the direct translation. Now here's another video of it zoomed in and a little bit slowed down. And again, this green thing is what you're seeing supposedly is the 7-foot alien in this armor. And it even has the ability to camouflage. There's a lot of reports where this tribe talk about this thing just like Predator. It's like in the jungle, sometimes they see it and they'll try to shoot at it. They won't hit it. And then it just like disappears.
And it's got the camouflage like the Predator has.
Yeah, that's what they claim. You gonna play this, Lindsay? So again, this is slowed down and zoomed in a little bit and brightened to try to show you a little bit more of detail of what's going on here.
So they're shining this flashlight on this thing, whatever it is.
And you can tell it does like
it's moving.
It's moving, and it does have a shape of like humanoid shape to it.
I kind of see that, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like an animal.
It does look kind of like a gray though.
Yeah,
and a larger version of a gray.
And I don't quite know why it's green. I don't know if that's the light if it's a green light, or if it's just happens like they're shining on it and it's reflecting back green. That's something I don't really know very well right now. And a lot of people, a lot of different YouTube channels are trying to break these videos down to try to understand what's going on here. There's another video where it shows members of this tribe. This is the one where it actually has members of this indigenous tribe going out in the jungle searching for it, and they are shooting. This is one of the ones that you can actually hear gunfire. And the other one that's a longer video, you can hear it too.
Las noches se han vuelto aterradoras para los habitantes de la comunidad indígena Iquitu, ubicada en la provincia loretana de Maynas, en la región Loreto. Episodios como este se repiten casi a diario en este lugar. Luces que vuelan unidireccionalmente, acompañados de espeluznantes.
Well, it's in Peru, so I don't...
Spanish then, right?
I guess I wasn't 100%. I mean, it definitely has Spanish roots.
Según los moradores de esta comunidad,
but I mean, they are like these people, these tribes. They're 100% like, this is what we saw. This is what we're doing. We even have like, part of the police helping us. We're all firing at this thing. There's something there. There really is truly something there that they're genuinely scared of. And this woman got hurt. This woman that they're showing right now, she's the one that had her neck slashed. And her story is that this creature came up to her, and it's the one that cut her neck. And she's the one that said what it looked like.
Wait, did she survive?
Yeah, she survived.
Mm.
She's not dead. She just got injured pretty badly, and her neck got cut kind of bad, but she didn't die. And so this is where it gets really weird. Now, there is a video. I don't think we should show this video. Lindsay, you can just show it. Don't hit play. You could just show that, because it doesn't show anything in the very beginning of the video. It just shows like a body laying there, but it's a dude and his face is completely off. You just see his skull. Yeah. Scroll down a little bit. You won't see it yet because it's covered up. But they lift this guy up out of the water. This is in now. There's some different things with this. Some people have said this video is about 60 days old. So they don't know if this is in Peru. It could actually be in Brazil. But with this whole thing about the face,
face peelers.
Face peelers. That's what happened to this guy. His whole face is gone. All that there is a skull, just a skull, and they lift him up, and it's pretty graphic.
Wait. So if they peel the skin of the face off, though, you've got still muscle and stuff there. Are they taking that too? It's much harder to get off.
I don't know. All I'm saying is when they lift this guy up, all that is left is a skull on his face. That's it.
All right, we're not showing that.
Yeah, we were not showing it. We're definitely not showing it.
Lindsay, maybe send me a link to that so I can watch it on my iPad right now, because I need to see what this thing looks like.
Now, there's a couple things going on with that video. So, because I tried to do a lot of extensive investigation with where this video came from, who uploaded it, where.
Oh, it's literally just a skull.
Yeah, it's literally just skull.
It's like if you took a skull out of science class
and put hair on it,
and there's no blood on it either. Like
there's blood. There's no blood. It's a little bit on the side of it, on the side.
Yeah, on the side, which
the skin is still kind of like, the neck is still kind of attached to the skull.
This looks like it's like movie stuff. It could be.
That was my first impression, actually. I was like, dude, this looks like some kind of like B horror.
You don't get a skull that clean. Like think about it. To get all the muscle and stuff off of the skull. Like I didn't even get freaked out when I looked at it, because it looked like you took.
Yeah, I know. I was the same way. And okay, I'm gonna put it in the chat, you guys. If you want to watch it, view it your own discretion.
If you got kids around, I wouldn't do that. It's not nice for kids.
It's possible that this could. I don't think it's fake, but what some people have said. When I was going through all the Twitter threads of everything related to this, it is possible that this guy, they think it could have been some weird drug deal, and the mob captured him and like held him underwater in piranha infested water, and that's what happened to him. But I couldn't find any reports on that either.
Okay, there was a very clean cut here. His neck was exposed, nothing, and then
it's super clean.
Even the part that was attached still to his skull of his hair looked like it could have been glued on or something.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. And the other thing is too, if it was piranhas, you would think that it would just be like blotches on his skin, right? I mean, it's like a perfect clean cut around his face where it's just everything's off and all you see is skull.
Yeah, so I've never seen the aftermath really of like what does an alligator carcass look like after piranhas got it. But I imagine it would take them quite a long time to clean it off to the extent that thing was cleaned off, where it looked like a skull in science class. Yeah,
that's what I thought too. So,
but however, the face peeler concept is an interesting one. That seems to, that's just praying to be on a t-shirt.
or
You like the imagery that comes up is literally like the They Live people imagery, like where it's like these just the bulging eyes and it's a skull left, you know.
Right. Yeah, so I don't know about this one. I really don't know.
This is basically what the guy who got pulled out of the water looked like, except the skin, like the skull was like just a clean skull, white.
Yeah, it really is. There's a little bit of blood on the side of his face.
Yeah, which
head or whatever.
Why wouldn't it be anywhere else either? Like there's there's questions. I got questions.
Yeah, and it's not purple like They Live. It's just pure white almost. Yep. So, but there's no eye. It's just a skull. There's no eyes or anything. It's just like everything's just gone. No nose. It's just pure skull. So, I don't know. Like I said, I was really trying to find any information on that. I couldn't even find any media reports about it. So,
I think we need to do a deep dive on face peelers, Ben.
I think so too.
I feel like this is a future episode of Edge of Wonder just waiting to happen. I'm getting excited.
Yeah, because I've never heard of this before, these face peeler things. This is the first time I've ever heard of it.
We've got to contact someone from Peru who is adept in Peruvian urban legend.
You're saying we have to, or we do have somebody?
Yeah, we have to do that. And they will tell us what's going on. They'll tell us the whole story.
We did have a connection there. I actually know some people that just got back from Peru, so they may actually have some connections.
You need to call them after the show and be like,
yeah, I will.
Be
like, yo, you know anything about these face peeler things?
Yeah. Hey, long time no talk. I had a question. You know anything about these face peelers? Nice to talk to you.
That's funny. Or if anyone else has any friends in Peru, let us know.
All right.
But yeah. It's super weird anyway.
Okay, also so there's a few different things that we could use as leads here.
Mm-hmm.
One is who's from Peru, who understands the urban legends there. The second is, what is this Iquitu tribe that they're talking about? Is there a way to like are they, what does it mean by a tribe? Are they is it an indigenous group that just kind of lives together like Hawaiians or are they like more?
They're approximately about 1,400 people part of this tribe.
But are they modern language. Like do they use technology? Do they have normal houses? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I know.
Are they more cultural and like?
I'm trying to find any information about them. It looks like maybe a little bit of both. It's like everything comes up about the alien now when you type it in.
Okay, if anyone out there is a part of the Iquitu tribe and they know anything about this, please get in touch with us.
Yeah, it looks more normal, you know. I mean, they have like shotguns and stuff, and yeah, I mean, it looks like, you know.
Well, I mean, if you like have face peelers in your culture, wouldn't you have a shotgun?
Yeah, I would too, man.
Exactly. Well, hey, we got to watch another trailer. But when we come back, we're probably going to finish up on this topic and get into a bunch of other ones like this tunnel system, dude. We got to talk about that.
Tunnel system, and then also in Peru,
Peru stuff.
The 3-fingered alien being that they found.
This episode just keeps getting better, Ben.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, let's do it.
Seafaring voyagers traverse the vast seas, sailing for distant lands, lost treasure, ferocious sea beasts, and new worlds beyond the old. But what if their searches across the ocean surface miss truths that lie much deeper? What secrets hide in the Bermuda Triangle? Why do octopuses exhibit an ethereal intelligence we can't quite explain? Are sightings of the Kraken and giant squids more than mere stories? Some creatures have been found to not just survive, but to thrive at depths and conditions we never thought possible. Which begs the question, what has been written off in history as imaginings or myths that may actually be pointing to other dimensions, alien worlds, or fantastic beings that aren't supposed to exist? Join Edge of Wonder for a deep dive into the cryptids of the abyss.
Hey.
Yeah. Really weird. Yeah, it sounds like they this could be more like there's somebody in the chat that said, "Oh, I'm from Peru. I haven't heard of these face peeler things." So it sounds like that might be more something with these local Indians that or natives that they have more of that might be their term that they created on their own because maybe they see something. I mean, I can imagine being in the jungle. You're probably seeing all kinds of super weird stuff out there. So that's what it looks like. It looks like they live more in like the jungle area, but still kind of like homes that are kind of makeshift homes out of,
they may not be aliens. They may be some type of cryptid.
That's actually a good, really good point.
Yeah. Like there's weird stuff out there.
Yeah.
And
like the media is kind of spinning this as like, oh, well, they're calling it aliens because it's in everyone's like consciousness right now because everyone's talking about aliens. So it's probably more like an animal, but it's like, okay, this is a 7-foot animal that the woman described and the teenager described, and it was walking upright and slashed her neck with some kind of like weapon. Doesn't sound like an animal.
Yeah, it sounds like something intelligent enough to wield a weapon, right?
Yeah.
So that definitely, like, you don't see apes doing that every day. So
no, definitely not. And okay, Peru's already weird as it is, right? I mean, we got like the Inca lines that are kind of close by in Peru, and then of course you got the Machu Picchu that's there too, and they've found like more relics, ancient things that they've found, and not to mention a mysterious 3-fingered skeleton that was found in Peru.
All right, is it a big skeleton or is it like that tiny little alien thing skeleton? Like
no, it's
look at that.
Yeah, but look at the fingers.
Is this plaster cast? Or is this mummified?
I think it's mummified.
Allegedly mummified.
Yeah,
because this looks like something someone in art class would have made in.
Look at those fingers. Like those are not human fingers.
What is that?
Yeah, they said
that thing in the front.
There was okay. So this is okay. So the guy who examined this has examined mummies found in, around the Nazca lines.
Yeah,
back like 6,500 years ago. He says each of these mummies have 2 arms, 2 legs, a head, a pair of eyes, and a mouth. And they've like scanned their tissue and everything else. The tissue has biological nature and their chemical composition indicates that they are humans. Their DNA features 23 pairs of chromosomes, just as like we have. All the 4 of them are males, each with a Y chromosome. They appear human, but they are not, and they have 3 fingers. Long fingers, no doubt, no less. So it's like they do appear human on the surface when you look at their head structure, but look at that head. I mean, the head looks a little bit more elongated than ours. That doesn't really quite look like a human.
Like human teeth, dude.
Yeah.
Huh. But those fingers though, that's like a hybrid or something.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too.
That's freaky. That's nightmare juice.
Wait a minute. That's definitely an alien.
That's something else.
What is
Yeah, what's this thing?
Yeah.
Mummy?
Okay, that they're just I don't know. This video was posted. Oh, Gaia. Okay, and they were just using this as an example. This is not one of the mummies that they found.
Dude, that
They're
should
using
not have
as
put
an
that in
example.
there.
Yeah, they're doing that on purpose to probably try to confuse people, because these do typically look very humanoid-ish.
Right.
They did say that these are kind of human, but look at the overall bone structure just doesn't look right. And the eye sockets look a little bit
bigger or
too.
something.
Yeah.
I don't know. This looks fake to me. Like, this looks like something someone would have made in one of my like college art classes.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Like, it looks plasterish. And when have you seen a mummy that comes out looking like plaster? It's like straight up plaster.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, I'm sure before this article came out, someone must have looked at that and confirmed that it's in fact not that. I mean, they did X-ray it, right? So you can see.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I mean, if it was plaster, yeah, they wouldn't have it would just be hollow. So there was actually a bone structure there. He said that's 1,700-year-old mummies. They look more reptilian than human.
Dude, that's freaky that they use the word reptilian in there.
Yes.
Wow.
So what's interesting is that they did have different scientists study these things. These scientists all agree they're real. They're just the issue is whether these are human or not. And then it's like, no, these are definitely human beings, you know. And other scientists are like, no, these are not human beings. That's really where more of the challenge. To recreate a skull with these characteristics is a very difficult task. If these were fake, he would be the first to report it. Just is the simple fact that they can scan these things and there's a bone structure. So if basically are saying if these are fake, somebody went to great lengths to make sure that every aspect of this was created in the most perfect way. But yeah, you never know with these things, but
well, yeah, and you guys,
maybe this is fake. I don't know.
If you like weird creatures, the trailer that we just played during the break was of like all of the weird creatures we found in the sea. And actually, Ben and I did a 2-episode, I think it was, series on different alien races that we tracked down. You really should check that out on rise.tv if you haven't checked that out yet. We've got a whole bunch of videos on rise.tv that you'll enjoy. You'll have spent hours and hours enjoying yourselves and all of the zany research we've done for you guys. So if you, yeah, here it is. This was the thing. What was that thing called? The somethingoid. You remember that thing, Ben? The tarantuloid, or it was I
don't remember.
There was some strange insectoid. It was insectoid.
Yeah,
that was it.
Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah, and I did all the drawings in this particular series. So if you guys haven't checked this out, you totally should. It's really interesting.
You know, Rob, I hate to say this, but I think those mummy things, they might actually be faked.
I told you, dude. They look plastered.
Might be.
Because it's not hard to put a set of bones in there that the X-ray is going to pick up, right?
I actually think that, I you know what? When I was at one of the recent conferences, this was brought up. Because I just remembered this because I was like, wait a minute.
Contact in the desert or whatever?
Yeah, it was like one of these things that one of them I was at, and this whole thing was brought up, and there was a bunch of us talking about it, and I was overhearing it, and actually it sounded like now this was because what happened was Gaia had a special on this.
Yeah, right.
And it turned out I think that the guy that was doing a lot of the research into these things he had a team secretly create it without telling anybody.
Dude, that's messed up.
Yeah.
Like how
Now,
much, again, it's like these fame whores.
Yeah,
know,
I
you were
could
talking
be
about earlier.
wrong on this, and it could have been something else. But now that I'm seeing this, I'm like, wait a minute. I think this might actually be not real, unfortunately. But, and I'm sorry if it's not real. You know, I was like all excited to showing this thing, but it just kind of hit me.
We got to find this stuff and we got to track down whether it's real or not.
Yeah.
I honestly think 90% of the stuff that's out there is probably real, but there's going to be trash like this where people are trying to, you know, make a name for themselves. And like, you know, it's sort of like with like those guys that were saying that they were the ones on the plane with that girl and all of that stuff. And it turns out it was probably just like an argument with her family member over the AirPods, which, you know, it's up to you whether you believe that. It seems suspicious, but I mean, you know, they turn things like really easily. There's all kinds of psychological operations out there that throw fake stuff into the ether for us to eat up so that they can basically discredit all of the real stuff that comes out, right? This is unfortunately why there's certain theories that people believe in that I don't. I actually think some of those are psychological operations to distract them. I'm not going to name any of those right here, but I really do think that that's like a big part of what happens. And then when real stuff goes down, like it just gets made fun of by the MSM.
That's exactly it. You know, it's really hard. Now, one thing I can confirm is that there was about 170 mummies found in this area of Peru, dating back the right time frame, which is about 1,200 years ago.
So, like maybe that's the story. Maybe we should be looking into that.
And you know, and again, it's also possible they're like, well, okay, we don't have the real thing. This is what we heard. We'll just create it, you know, and not tell anybody. That could be another situation, unfortunately, about this. And there are, unfortunately, there are these things like there's even at Contact in the Desert. I'm not going to say anything about it, or who it was or what it was or anything, but there's some things there that are claiming to be real. And I'm like, dude, this is not real.
Okay. So
sorry.
Speaking of mummies though, there is a couple of other topics we've got to hit before we go over to Rise. And one of them is that archaeologists are too scared to open the tomb of China's first emperor because they're fearing booby traps were put in there.
Yes.
So, yeah. And it's weird that there's stuff coming out today about this, but I was like, we did a couple of episodes on Metaphysical specifically about this. And since they found this tomb, this same discussion has been going on for almost years now. So do you know, like, what's your information on this? I want to know. And then I'll fill you in on what I found.
What they said was that there's possibly mercury that's in the tomb, and they know that there was there's massive, a really good craftsmanship with crossbows. So they also think that it could be booby trapped with crossbows. So it's like you open it up and then, like, you know, a bow and arrow an arrow will shoot at you. They said by this point, it's probably not going to be functioning if that is really the case.
Yeah, with the arrows, at least.
With the arrows and whatnot. But aside from that, there's still some other, they're also worried about they might damage things. You know, things are so old, they're worried that they're going to, they start opening things up, things could get damaged or whatever. But the biggest thing that they do fear is the mercury that could have been
so apparently down there, like when the Chinese emperors would go, they would want as much stuff for the next world as possible down there, right? And I think the lore has it that the emperor wanted rivers down there that represented the rivers in China that he was accustomed to, I guess, that represented those, but that were filled with pure mercury. And the mercury, you know, humans can't even be around that stuff. So, definitely, you know, not a good thing. I mean, you have mercury in a filling, lots of bad stuff can happen in your body.
Yeah, so that's the main thing about it. I mean, honestly,
also, never mind like any of the other curses that could be for disturbing like this amount of bodies that are down there. I mean, we're not talking about a normal person or thing. Like,
definitely not.
Qin Shi Huang was an interesting dude. I mean, he met with aliens, like or whatever you want to call them, Anunnaki, giants,
beings,
whatever,
other beings, other dimensional beings.
Yeah.
It's interesting too, and then, I mean, a lot of people can be like, well, I don't believe in like curses and things like that. But I mean, the people that the archaeologists that opened up King Tut's tomb all died.
Yeah. That was a thing.
And they're like, well, there was like this bacteria that was there
that
caused them to be sick. But it's like, that's probably still part of the curse, I mean, we don't know these things, so same thing with this, who knows what's down there. In this
also,
thing.
I want to say, like, in Chinese culture, Qin Shi Huang gets a bad rap. It's almost like they say he was this like dictator kind of dude or something, but actually quite the opposite. If you really look into him, he united all of these kingdoms and then tried to preserve all of the culture that went back even further. And because of him, there's a bunch of stuff that made it through, like, from prehistory that otherwise would have been lost.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was actually a really cool dude. Like, he was a righteous guy, just from what I've read, and the stuff that I've gotten translated. So yeah, pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, tunnels, 12,000-year-old tunnels.
Yep. And by the way, you guys, if you're watching us on YouTube, Ganjing World, Twitter, Facebook, wherever, please like and subscribe to our channel so we can keep growing this, especially on YouTube. We just launched our Rise TV platform, so please subscribe to our channel so we can keep growing this.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, yes. So this is really interesting because this is causing more debate than anything else right now with these tunnel systems. Yeah, so it is true, they did find a massive underground tunnel system all throughout a lot of different parts of Europe. So what this is claiming, that there's a tunnel system that goes all the way from Scotland to Turkey. Now, this is the thing that's being debated, even like on Snopes and everything else. And they're like, well, we can't really confirm that it stretches all the way down from Scotland to Turkey. Also, the age of it is questionable. So this guy wrote a book, and he's the one that really found it and was like exploring it. And he estimated that this tunnel system was 12,000 years old. So, of course, it goes against a lot with what archaeologists know. So they're like, no, that's impossible. It's not that old. It has to be more like maybe 2,000 to 5,000 years old tops. And that's what people are saying. However, aside from the age,
dude, that's 2,827 miles of tunnels, if that's true.
That is what I'm saying right there. And
it would take 46 hours to, well, I don't know, drive. It would take 46 hours to drive.
It's insane, man.
That's like a whole
is
like civilization under there. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
If they're all connected.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, they don't know well, I shouldn't say they don't know. What they're estimating for is like, oh, they believed it was more of like maybe protect people against predators. They would go down there to put things in there, or dangers or whatever. But it's like, I don't know. I mean, even when you think about the catacombs underneath Los Angeles and the whole story about that, like what we just talked about in our reptilian episode that you can find on Rise TV, about, and New York, LA Times even had an article about it from early 1930s, talking about the lizard people's catacombs underground cities. And there's a Hopi legend that talked about the serpent people built these underground tunnel systems underneath like LA, where Los Angeles is now, 5,000 years ago. And this guy explores the whole area in the early 1930s, and they do find a massive tunnel system. So it's really interesting because, again, it's hard to say, and it's hard to say what the mainstream narrative is trying to hold back from, and kind of like, it's like there's probably some middle ground somewhere. Maybe it's not everything that this guy is saying, but it's definitely not everything that the mainstream media is trying to cover up. So there's probably some truth to this somewhere. But, because the problem is if it's 12,000 years old, then it's like, oh, well, who built this? And it's just too many questions. So it's just easier to say like, no, it's impossible. It has to be, and then it's like, what are you carbon dating? That's the other problem with a lot of these sites. They're carbon dating really weird things because, well, it's like, well, if we carbon date this rock could show up to be like 90,000 years old, right? So we can't really necessarily carbon date the rock. Well, okay, here's some tools next to it. We'll carbon date these tools. But then again, it's like, well, that doesn't necessarily say when this was built. Maybe it was built by a previous civilization and a new civilization, like, years later found it.
There's so many things wrong with this. Like so many things, right? Like take your pick, like the carbon dating thing. Science even saying that that's like extremely accurate in the ways that they have. It's the amount of human error that's involved here. Now, a really interesting thing about this tunnel before we get over to Rise TV, is if it's going from Turkey all the way to Scotland, we're talking about it having to cross the English Channel to get there. So how deep are these tunnels, dude? Like those would have to go under that, right? You're not going to go straight into water there. So this is interesting.
It really, and that's another reason why they're trying to debunk it. They're like, it's impossible that this thing could go all the way from
Turkey. If it was pre-flood, and the water was lower, like 150 feet lower or 300 feet lower, whatever it was, 300 meters lower, whatever. 150 feet, I think, is official. But it's like then all of that area would be land. It would be a straight land going straight across,
that's actually a really good point. Because if you do think about it, if it was even 5,000 years old, the landscape could have changed so much, even 5,000 years, let alone 12,000 years.
Well, and these are Noah's flood numbers here. This is like pre-flood stuff.
It really is. Yeah, it's really interesting. Really, and then again, that's like I said, maybe they were found by somebody else way later by a different civilization, and then these could actually be like 100,000 years old, and just like different cultures have used these things throughout the years when they find them. So, and it's really fascinating. Like the Great Pyramid, there's no hieroglyphs inside the Great Pyramid.
Well, I wonder why, Ben. Maybe because that was left over from way before the Egyptians were there.
Because it's like they were leaving hieroglyphs on every single thing. Not
to mention that the head of that Sphinx is so tiny. Like if it was proportionate to the body, that could have been a completely different head that the modern Egyptians were like, we need to carve this into something that fits our culture.
Oh, yeah.
Make it into one of the pharaohs. So they carve it down, and then it's this tiny head on a massive lion body.
Yeah. That's what a lot of people think too. So.
All right. Well, anyway, we got to get over to Rise.tv where we're going to talk about some of this Sound of Freedom stuff because,
Yeah.
Interesting. We'll get on that, and then we'll have our Q&A, and we're going to also have a live meditation with everyone and prayer. So if you haven't subscribed to Rise.tv, please think about doing that. We could really use your help with creating this content, keep going, keep the lights on. And we're not stopping anytime soon, you guys. We're going to keep doing this, and we've got all kinds of awesome content that we're going to create for you all. And it's a great community over there. So hopefully we get to see you. And Ben, thanks so much. This is awesome show today.
Yeah, it was great. I feel a little bad about the 3-fingered alien thing. I was like, oh my gosh. And then it hit me later. Like, oh,
it's not your fault that they are trying to fool everyone.
I know that's the thing that sucks. It has fooled a lot of people, including the media.
Well, anyway, you guys, we'll see you over on Rise.tv.
There's a war on children, and its weapon is right in your own home.
In this critical series from Edge of Wonder, we expose the astonishing truth about how children are being programmed and groomed with hidden sexual content and subliminal messages.
Did you know that today's children's programming is full of sex and sexual themes?
From erotic animation in Disney classics to behavior manipulation in modern Pixar. From Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network's questionable themes to media, movies, and more. This is a bigger pattern of hidden nudity, sexual innuendos in cartoons, and normalization of pedophilia that can't be ignored.
After this video, you'll see why it's a spiritual battle for our children's morality, and why we think parents should have all the facts to make the ultimate choices for their own kids.
This is War on Children.
Right, welcome to Rise.tv, y'all. Wow, Ben, your